Hi. IOY. It is 11:20, Monday, November 20th, 2023. It is 8:30 in the evening, and I am recovering from yesterday. I did some drinking and some singing, and was pretty hungover today. And I just took a break. What was this now? No, okay. Now, what was that? That's weird. Now, what happened here? Oh, cure disease. Okay, he cured disease on me for some reason. Yeah, and I don't have much to say. I'm gonna record videos today, but I'm not all here. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I spent the last 14 hours uploading 16 videos, which took a long time. 16 2-hour videos of the 2 days this weekend that I missed because YouTube screwed up and didn't do uploads this week well at all. Like it seems like the service itself is actually degrading each day. It's actually kind of crazy. So finally got the uploading done today, which cut my session in half. And I got some work done on WoW, but like most of the major work has to be done now. And I got to level 13, but a lot of it was just profession work, getting my professions where they should be. Got the first aid to 75, got the cooking to 75, got the fishing to 100. All the slow stuff's out of the way. Got that done today. And yeah, and so this is going to be kind of a lazy video, I admit. This is going to be one of the more lower energy videos I've done in the last couple months because I'm just out of it, and I just want to grind WoW today and listen to stupid like internet drama and see what's going on in the world. So with that note, we're going to get to it. I love you guys. Thank you. And yeah, and we will get to it here. Oh, I need to monitor my stream. Yes, we are good. It appears that we are good. Okay, we are live and we are up and we are going. Okay, yep, and sorry if I haven't talked much lately. I'm just like sort of out of it and just trying to get the work done and be more with it tomorrow. I just like had to take a day off, which to me means only recording for 6 to 8 hours instead of 12 or 14 or even 16 or 20 like I did 2 days ago. And so yeah, like I don't feel that bad about taking like a half day because in the last 3 days I actually did put
you are proving yourself quite well so far.
26 hours of video on YouTube, and all of it is I would say at least like medium quality, which is good.
A band of vicious Defias pillagers has been seen plundering the Gold Coast Quarry, Moonbrook, and the Alexton farmstead. The People's Militia will not stand for such behavior. Dispatch immediately, adventurer, and make the light's presence known in Westfall. The Gold Coast Quarry is near the shore, to the west of the tower. As the next step of your training, I want you to kill 15 of those foul Defias pillagers and 15 Defias looters.
Okay, sorry about that. Just had to get the tablet monitor running. There we go. And we shall play some WoW and listen to some videos and just do it up. Here we go. Yeah, we're just gonna.
Consumer that you want to buy into your product is a galaxy brain tactic, a strategy that I'm not sure the success rate of. Like, $28, no matter how you spend this, is a lot for some fucking cookies. Yeah. And I think the way she keeps trying to break it down and rationalize it is pretty disingenuous. It's $7 a bag, and that's still expensive, but then you also have to factor in that the bags aren't even big to begin with. It's 4 ounces per bag. 4 ounces of cookies for $7 is still a lot, especially when you compare it to the product that they're basing it off of and supposedly approved upon, the Tootsie Midnight Cookies. Those were $10 a bag for 14 ounces. So even though the Tootsie Midnight Cookies were $3 more per bag, they offered you 10 ounces more of product. And they were sold in Costco. A lot of people really enjoyed them, but most people didn't like the price. That was a pain point of that. $10 for a bag of cookies, so $7 for a smaller bag of cookies, significantly smaller. Like, it doesn't matter how you boil down this math. all roads lead to this being an expensive product. That's the brass tacks of it. That is the hard pill to swallow. There's really no way of spinning this where $28 for a 4-pack of these cookies isn't expensive. It is. And to try and call people broke for not buying it or not being able to afford it is really some out-of-touch shit. And the really foul part about all of this that my little noodle will never be able to wrap itself around is a streamer calling their audience broke or poor.
Yep.
Bub, your wealth was built on their backs. Them watching you supplied you with money through the ads that get played to them. Them directly donating to you took their money and gave it to you. If they weren't watching you, you would be getting no sponsors, which make up a lot of streamers' income. You need them, and you are dropping trouser and shitting in their mouth right now by just insulting them over them having legitimate criticisms over the price point of the product. It makes no sense. Your wealth was accumulated because of these people you're now calling broke and poor. It is incomprehensible to me.
Well met.
You were made from these people.
Cancel her. Cancel her. I'm just kidding.
Farmer Sardine and I are going to
well, if you're a broke boy, then don't buy the $36 fucking Girl Scout cookies then.
You go hungry, did you?
Like, you know, if you're too much of a broke boy, then, you know, just don't buy the $36, you know, Girl Scout cookies. Teach their broke boy own, I guess. Not that I buy cookies for $36 often anyways, but I mean...
Now, again,
honestly, at $36 for some cookies, even Warren Buffett or like Donald Trump or somebody would bat an eye. They literally would. They'd be like, what do I get with the $36? A blowjob or whatever? Oh, a box of cookies? No. They'd be like, no. They didn't get rich writing checks. They'd be like, no. Even rich people will take a look at that price and be like, no. They're like, I won't be rich long if I buy things like that, you know? Now, her true fans probably all bought a box believing that it would eventually be worth a lot. I should buy a box and sell it in 5 years. I should buy a box of those cookies. Yeah, what will that box of cookies?
Good day to you. My watch. Thank you so much, kind lady. We are but poor farmers and we have lost our land, but please accept this reward as a token of our appreciation.
Now, this was, like, there's supposed to be oats here, but there's no oats here. I don't see any oats. Yeah. What's up there? It's, oh yeah, River Paw Scouts. There's little packs of them all over the place.
$28 for a 4-pack of cookies is a hard bargain. This is already priced out a normal consumer. This is purely for your fans that want to support you.
Yep.
So they are the only ones that will likely be buying this. $28 is not going to be like mass adopted by just normal snack shoppers and enthusiasts that want a good healthy snack.
What's up, number 2? How you doing?
Compared to other healthy alternatives, because I do get healthy snacks. I know what a lot.
It's good to see you. Sorry I wasn't on earlier today. I got a sore throat and just I had to upload like 20 hours of videos and it took forever. And yeah, just kind of an off day today. I can't stream at the same time that I upload 20 hours worth of video, you know, without lagging you guys, and it just kept stacking up as YouTube kept failing. So today I had to like take a half day while I just dealt with YouTube being really slow and really cantankerous. Ready for the MMO lifestyle? Yeah. Tonight it's MMO. Tonight it is WoW hardcore all night until I inevitably die. We'll see. You know, I'm having fun and it's helpful and I'm making money and it's forward, you know, progress. So. Gore-Tex liver, but do I have livers? I don't know. I don't think I have that. No, I don't have Gore-Tex livers. No. Those are 15. Can't do those yet. I'm gonna take a look at these river paw camps.
These prices are, this is still an expensive product. I wouldn't be paying $28 for a 4-pack of cookies unless that came with 5 strippers and legitimately every vitamin and nutrient my body could ever need, and then guarantee that I'd get 3 inches taller by the time I finish the 4 bags. Now, that's not saying that the quality of the cookies is bad or something. Like, they look good. They might be extraordinary. I probably would enjoy them. They're probably pretty tasty. But they are an expensive product that I probably wouldn't pay for. This is definitely something that is 100% geared and marketed towards her audience of fans that want to support her, and now she is publicly shaming a big chunk of them.
What was that? What was that? Okay, right.
Like, it's a very fair thing for people to talk about. Like, hey, Pokimane,
I forgot which button I put my pickpocket on.
Screen and boil it down to people being idiots who can't do math or a broke boy is just, it's so just bad. Like, not only just from like a personality perspective to say some shit like that and shame people that support you, but it's also just bad from a business perspective because this is all sold off of your reputation and people wanting to support you, and now you've done a huge disservice to that here. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's something that 3 years ago she criticized another streamer for. Like, it seems like she recognizes that insulting your audience is a financial situation.
I think they get catty and attack each other, and I don't think they should do that because the minute that they have like they have a problem, the floodgates are just open. The floodgates are just ready. Like, they're like, the minute that they have a problem because they attacked people before, and talk shit before about Sniper Wolf or like, whatever, it's pretty easy to cancel them because it's like, if they talk shit at all. Like, one of the things I've been very careful to do as a streamer is to attack the premises, not the people. Yeah, I don't go Pokimane is a blank, right? I don't say that. Like a lot of boomers, I think they would say Pokemon is a blank, right? Or whatever. Look at what she's doing, blah, blah, blah. I don't ever do that generally. I say, oh my God, the premise of a $36 box of fucking cookies is frankly disgusting. And it sounds like the fall of Germany right before the Fourth Reich when it was 10,000 Deutschmarks for a fucking loaf of bread. That's what that shit sounds like. It sounds like a weird digital rip-off form of that's meant to farm the public and all this stuff. And I'll attack the premise, but I won't attack Pokimane because I get it. She's trying to make the money last. She wants that kind of money that her great grandkids are going to be able to drive Bentleys, and I get that.
Is a horrible.
I don't condone it, but I get it, and I don't ever attack her. I attack the premise, which is weak. She should have thought about it.
Because 3 years ago, she made these tweets in response to someone who was like shaming her audience over like not donating $5 or something for $5. I saw people passing around these tweet links, and like, she clearly was able to recognize then, like, hey, a lot of people that watch you might not be in the best financial situation, but that doesn't mean you need to be, nasty to them about it or make them feel bad about it or try and shame them or insult them. And then 3 years later, she just did. I don't know how this is going to play out for the future of her new snack company. It's definitely not a great start, not really hitting the ground running. A bit of a stumble here, I would say. But I guess who really knows? Maybe her audience responds really positively to this kind of thing. I'm not certain. Personally, I feel it's a terrible look. I've never really respected when people try and look down on others who have less money than them or insult them for, not being as wealthy as they are. I think that is just absolute trash behavior. So this was a pretty surprising thing to see floated around today. That's really about it. So yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. So thank you. Oh, by the way, thank you, Moist Critical, for the excellent content from a stream. I'd like to sub to your channel.
Naughty little secret from all of you for the laugh.
Thank you, Legal Eagle, for the excellent content from a stream. I'd like to sub to your channel. This video is called Trump Took the Stand. It did not go well. Big fucking surprise. I mean, yep.
Courtroom. Donald Trump finally testified in open court, and it did not go well. In just one incident in the New York Attorney General's $250 million civil fraud case, Trump repeatedly pulled out a piece of paper out of his suit jacket, sparking conflict with Judge Arthur Engoron. And when Trump asked Engoron if he, quote, would like to see it, the judge reacted like any sensible person who has just been asked if he wanted to see what a man is keeping in his pocket.
What the hell? Like, that's what Trump did? He had a piece of paper that he threatened the judge with. What was it? Like, we'll kill you or something?
I don't need to see that.
They can't get through to the judge. They can't cheat or kibitz or whatever. So they literally use like weird MLM, like fucking psycho neurolinguistic stuff. I have a piece of paper. There's something written on it. Would you like to see? It's so fucking weird and psycho. And it's the last thing I would have expected. Oh my God. Like the last thing I ever would have guessed.
Aggro.
And you'd be running around like Capshaw Rapido.
Deal says never take no for an answer, so nevertheless, Trump persisted. He said, quote, I would love to read this, Your Honor, if I could. Am I allowed to do that? The judge was irritated, telling Trump again, no, not at this point. But Trump insisted that the paper would completely clear his name. What was this mysterious piece of paper? Well, Trump believes that he can win the civil trial with one weird trick. A disclaimer clause on his financial statements. And he said, quote, I think that the statements of financial conditions were very good, were actually somewhat conservative, and they were totally protected, and so am I by the disclaimer clause. But the thing is, before trial, Judge Engeron had already ruled that the disclaimer doesn't insulate Trump from his fraud claims. So the judge told Trump to, quote, read my opinion again, or for the first time, perhaps. And Trump professed to be shocked by the judge's refusal to read the piece of paper. Quote, he called me a fraud, and he didn't know anything about me. But the thing is, judges get to decide matters of law before the trial even starts, and the judge had already decided that the disclaimer wasn't a valid legal defense. But yeah, Trump really was losing control and really was yelling and pointing at the judge while on the witness stand.
Oh my God. Please don't do that.
The fraud is on her. Here, Trump was referring to Tish James. Quote, I think she is a political hack. She used this case to try to become governor. This is a disgrace. All you have to do is read the legal papers and the scholars. This is a political witch hunt, and I think you should all be ashamed of yourself. Now, it should probably not surprise you to learn that generally witnesses don't get to introduce things into evidence by pulling objects out of their sweaty underclothes. And the financial statements issued here, which all have been admitted into evidence. But
It's actually a threat on the guy's life. We will kill your entire family if you don't give this trial to us. That's what it is. Or the piece of paper's blank or something. It's just kind of crazy. It's like, what a crazy asshole. There's somebody I will say a word about, because that is like just crazy asshole territory. Now, are you going to die here, friend? I don't know. I'm going to help you, though. Yeah, we're going to help you. We're just going to help you so you don't die. Yeah. Pretty low there. Don't be pulling links. Lucky I helped you. I did 200 damage to that mob. It wasn't negligible. Damn it. This warrior's like carving down the fucking beach, just like killing all of these because he's 16 and he actually has the level to do it. And he took like all my single spawns. Ooh, that's good. So let's put it on the screen, right? Yeah, like I can't believe, like, hey, I've got something in my front pocket for you. Why don't you reach into your pocket and see what it is? I've got here's Butterscotchworth with a rendition of I've got something in my pocket, my front pocket for you. I've got something in my pocket. I've got something in my front pocket for you. Why don't you see? Why don't you reach into my pocket to see what it is? This picture is also really funny.
Determined to have some kind of Perry Mason moment, and this led to some intense moments between him and
Oh,
the
come
judge.
on.
This was just
It's
one
not a
of the
Perry
insane
Mason
things
moment. It's a South Park, I've got something in my front pocket for you moment. You're breaking my balls here, Trump. You're breaking my balls. Come on, man.
happened when Donald Trump took the stand in the New York Attorney
I've got something in my pocket that says you will dismiss this case. No. It better be like a nuclear threat on the judge's house or something. No. I've got a nuclear bomb and I'm not afraid to use it. I'll nuke this city. Let me off this problem. Let me out of this problem or you'll die in a nuclear blast. That's what the piece of paper would have to say to actually get anything done, mainly put him in jail. That's about the only thing that would probably make the judge take pause. He'd be like, wow, does Trump have a nuclear bomb? Could he bomb my city and lie about who did it and kill me because I'm not going to give him this court case or something? It would have to, like, listen to how crazy the premise gets really fast to me. Like, the only thing that he could threaten anybody with would be like a nuclear bomb or something like that. What's he going to do? Like, fucking bribe or cajole a judge? I mean, come on.
Civil fraud trial. And the trial isn't even over yet, but a lot has happened. So let's talk about what happened when Trump took the stand. Now, through all this, Trump has requested that his trials be televised. And I hate to say it, but I really agree with the former president on this point.
You can see the lawyers in the background being like, no, don't offer the notes anymore. There's like people in the back waving their hands. No. Oh, there's been a pick. Interception. It's like a football play. And the fucking like lawyer legal fans in the back are like Trump fans are like, no. Stop talking about the piece of paper in your pocket. Stop it.
It would be good for Trump. Some people claim it would be good for prosecutors. But either way, this is of national importance, and it really seems like the public has a right to know.
What's on the piece of paper, then? Well, now we want to know what's on the piece of paper. You're going to tell us for free. You're going to tell us for free, or we'll hold that, and we'll cancel you with that. What's on the piece of paper then? What's on the piece of paper then, huh? Tell us what's on the piece of paper. There wasn't anything, was there? It was just empty, wasn't it? You're just playing some PR trick to make the Proud Boys think that you have some secret about the judge or something. Come on.
Sadly, here this trial is not televised, so unfortunately we have to rely on secondhand.
Yeah, unfortunately we have to rely on hilarious meme artwork. Like, I've got something in my front pocket for you.
But there were a lot of people taking seemingly very good notes during this whole thing. Now, as you may recall, this trial stems from a civil lawsuit filed by the New York Attorney General.
What's on the paper? What's on the paper then? You kept talking about the paper. What's on the paper? What's the secret? Tell us the secret, or get more charges. I think you're kibitzing and fucking around with obstruction of justice. What's on the paper? You cannot hold this court ransom with a piece of paper. What's on the paper? Give up the secret tomorrow, or face fucking or face contempt of court. What's on the paper, Trump? What's on the paper?
And several company executives of inflating the value of the Trump organization's assets and Trump's personal wealth to obtain better terms on loans and insurance. The New York Attorney General wants to recoup $250 million and limit the Trump's ability to do business in New York. And before the trial, Judge Arthur Engoron already ruled that Trump committed financial fraud by overstating the value of his assets, and he canceled the New York business certificates of several of Trump businesses.
Of course he did.
Stayed pending appeal. Now, the current trial will resolve the other fraud claims and determine what penalties the Trumps must pay. During the trial, Trump has continually accused Judge Engoron of pursuing him for political reasons, and after he shared a social media post attacking the judge's principal law clerk, Judge Engoron issued a limited gag order. Now, Trump violated that order twice, and Judge Engoron has fined him $5,000 and then $10,000. And because of this conduct, Trump was forced to take the stand for the first time to defend the references that he was making in the...
I've got something in my front pocket for you. It's just another court subpoena and a fucking and a court summons. I've got something in my front pocket for you. It's the rest of my life in a courtroom and the gist of it all.
It's the gist of it all. That the witness that he was referring to was Michael Cohen.
I've got a subpoena in my front pocket for you. You gotta tell us what's on the paper, or go to jail. Don't stop behaving like a weird John Gotti crime boss. This is the kind of thing that, frankly, I really mean this. This is the kind of thing that Charles Manson would have done. This is the weird creeper kind of thing that Charles Manson would have done. It's sociopath and weird and dumb and it's stupid and it's just like, like your weird sociopath like Charlie shit. It's just psycho weird. Nobody wants it. Stop manipulating the court and stop acting like, you know, like turning it into a kangaroo court is a good thing. You talk about kangaroo courts all the time, but you seem to be making, like, you talk about waving some piece of paper with some hidden knowledge on it. That's about as kangaroo court as it fucking gets. That's as kangaroo court as it gets.
Not the judge's clerk, but Judge Ankron.
That's like I got a piece of paper with a nuclear threat on it or something. It's like that's just literally, that is like a terrorist threat. You made like a terrorist threat basically in a courtroom, and you're like, do you want to know what's on the piece of paper? And the judge is like, absolutely the fuck not. And if I really wanted to know, I could just subpoena it. And you better tell me what's on the piece of paper now. And Trump's like, no. And it's like, well, okay, well, you're lucky I don't give you contempt of court. You're going to skate on this one. Don't do it again. I guarantee you this is exactly what they said. Don't do it again, you know. And they were like, we're going to let the piece of paper slide, but don't ever do this again, or we will subpoena you. We will find out what's on the paper, whether you fucking bribe, whether you try to manipulate the court with it or not. And then we're going to ignore what it is and declare it like evidence that can't be used in a court case. Because that's what they do. They'll declare it as evidence that they can't use in a court case, and it'll be immaterial to the trial. And then Trump's little power play won't mean anything at all anyways. That's the bottom line about this. So they don't care what's on the piece of paper. They could easily subpoena that and then also invalidate it as court evidence very easily. They do that all the time. And just declare it like essentially like, you know, like force the fucking jury to ignore the piece of paper. They do that all the time. And they won't take it as evidence or a reason for the jury to reach a conviction or any of that stuff. And they'll just invalidate whatever information that is. That's what they do. It is hilarious. He's never been in court because he's a rich guy. But I, as a poor guy, have faced far worse than what Trump's faced. And I got to tell you, like, he's got another thing coming. It's just going to get worse from here. They'll subpoena the piece of paper. They've got no issue with that. Trust me, they're Ben Stone up in there. Letitia James is like Ben Stone. She doesn't truck with criminals, and she'll fuck him. On top of it, the public kind of ignored Trump's racism. They absolutely did. I've heard and seen not interviews, but like I've seen him sit at a table in a casino he owned in Atlantic City and tell the black person to leave the room. I've seen him do that at the rallies. I've seen him do it. They ignored that racism stuff, but some of these people like Letitia James, they aren't going to ignore it. They're going to want to nail his ass to the wall like John Gotti. They're not going to ignore it. He's fucking stupid. A lot of the white people ignored it like that's normal in this country to talk that kind of shit. Nah, man, none of us want our country to be this place where racism and fucking bullshit is just free reign. You can just do whatever, kick black people out of your rally and shit like that, right? Some of us actually care about America and are Karens and will crucify you for acting like that. And that's probably honestly the big B in her fucking bonnet. She's got a bee up her bonnet, and it's buzzing in her ear, and it's the fact that he is actually one of the worst racists in the country in terms of his actual actions, and you know, and so you angered the New York. Like, this is what happens to criminals. You pissed off the wrong paladin, and it turns out to be a African American paladin who doesn't like you. And they're going to use the justice and the light to shove the light up your fucking ass. And you threatening with little pieces of notes isn't going to stop it. That is the behavior of a terrorist bunch of clowns, a bunch of terrorist clowns falling down a hill. Not some kind of legal, like valid, like legal defense or action or any of that. Your actions are that of a jackass bunch of clowns falling down a legal hill. Even your lawyers are probably in the background being like, no, stop, no. They get you, like, literally, they got their hands like down trying to avoid the cameras and stuff. They're like, no. You can see it. It's career suicide.
For a fact,
I mean, nothing he does is career suicide. It all helps him. But I mean, like also, I'm not so sure though. If they subpoena the piece of paper and they find out that he's limp dick and he's got nothing and it's a lie and a bluff, like I think he could actually get in trouble here. I think he could definitely overstep his boundaries and fuck up pretty easily. You know, I'd say pretty easily. This paladin plays like loose, real loose. Give him the damage so it's not scary for him, but. Yeah, man, like, that was a little loose for you. I would not be pulling 15s at 12 or whatever you are, 13. I would, but I don't know, just be careful.
Need help? That okra will thicken up this broth nicely. Now we just add the stringy vulture meat, a few murloc eyes, and those delicious garitusk snouts. And we're done.
Gross.
For all your help, adventurer, I want you to take today's first batch of Westfall stew.
Nice. Okay, let's eat some then. Where did it go? Gortusk liver pie, Westfall stew. It's nice. But I mean, did I get the recipe for it? I don't know.
It's hollow and untrue. The Oxford English Dictionary defines alongside as close to the side of, next to. So yeah, probably not how you want your first testimony in that court to go. But
I've got a piece of paper in my front pocket for you. Why don't you fucking call my stupid bluff and ask me what the fuck it is? How about not? No, that's essentially holding the court hostage with your bullshit. No, how about not?
Judge's gag order initially only applied to Trump, but then Trump's lawyers, Christopher Kais and Alina Hava, started criticizing the clerk during trial. They argued that she was passing the judge notes and that this was evidence of anti-Trump bias.
Oh,
Clerks,
come on.
communicate with their judges. That's a perfectly acceptable practice. As I'm sure Kais and Hava surely know, Judge Engeron then extended the gag order to limit Kais and Hava, and that too is now on.
Oh no, what did I get? What did I get?
Poorly when
What
Trump
did I
took
get?
the stand in the
What
case
is
of
he? He's a 15.
When Trump took the stand, he clashed with the judge immediately, giving long-winded answers and serving up political monologues. Kais told the judge that Trump's decades as a real estate developer gave his opinion extra weight. Quote, if my choices were Donald Trump or Attorney General James, respectfully, I would go with Donald Trump. Kais urged the judge to give Trump, who he described as the once and future president, leeway to answer questions the way that he wanted to. Quote, with this witness, I
The way that he wanted
it's
to.
far more efficient to listen to what he has to say and take it in. But that comment struck a nerve with Judge Engeron. He said, quote, no, I'm not
letting him, I'm not here to let him testify beyond the proper fucking rules of the court. No, he can't kangaroo court this and just declare what's going on to everybody. No, that's the judge's job, whether you like it or not. That's his job, not yours.
I'm here to hear him answer questions. Sit down. Judge Engeron said he was considering drawing negative conclusions from Trump's testimony. Quote, we got another speech. I beseech you to control him if you can. If you can't, I will. I will excuse him and draw every negative inference that I can. Now remember, this is a bench trial, so Engeron is acting as the trier of fact, who will decide what really happened. Here, there's no jury, famously because it seems that Trump's lawyers did not request a jury or check the box that would have created a jury in this situation. It's actually incredibly normal for a judge to be the trier of fact instead of a jury. It happens all the time, especially in business-related matters. But here, I think it was clear that Trump's team wanted a jury and just forgot to check the box. But later on in the
basket it once was. Please accept this in recognition of your tireless efforts.
Oh, I did, but I've got to get cooking 75. I'm close.
See you around. I try to keep Sentinel Hill stocked, and that's not easy with all the action we see. I try to keep Sentinel Hill stocked, and that's not easy with all the action we see.
All those crappy whites that I don't need, that are soulbound. I wish I could sell them. Got something in my front pocket for you. Why don't you reach into my pocket and see what it is?
Questioning Trump was especially triggered by questions about Mar-a-Lago, the Florida golf club where he resides for most of the year. Engeron's pretrial ruling finding Trump liable for fraud noted that the local assessor valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million, while in documents Trump valued it at hundreds of millions more. Now, obviously, the assessor's opinion was only one and was not dispositive, but Trump certainly didn't back down and went the other direction, insisting that he believed the club was worth as much as $1.5 billion. Now, the Attorney General has argued that Mar-a-Lago would never be valued that high because the property is deed restricted and cannot be used as a residence or be developed. And Trump said that he agreed to the deed restriction for tax purposes. He admitted that the lower assessed value limits the property's tax burden. Quote, there are a lot of advantages to the club status. The smartest thing to do would be to have a club and have one member. Now, as you can probably tell, Trump is going to need a good lawyer on appeal to help him with his terrible testimony. If you want a great lawyer, my firm, the Eagle Team, can help. If you've had an injury or death in the family, suffered a data breach, or were involved in a car crash, we can represent you or help find you the right attorney who can. Just click on the link in the description for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle team. So the link is down below. Now, this isn't the worst argument in the world. Arguing that a clause that the court has already ruled several times doesn't say what you say it says is the worst argument, but it's still not very good. Because in 1985, Trump purchased Mar-a-Lago from the Post Foundation and used the estate as a private residence until 1995. Trump faced hostility from Palm Beach residents who blocked his attempts to subdivide the property into multiple housing lots. So in April of 1995, the estate became a private club. Trump signed an agreement with the city banning club members from spending more than 21 days a year at the club's guest suites. Trump also granted conservation easements to the National Trust for Historic Preservation. And in 2002, hoping to reduce his tax bill, Trump granted a new development easement to the Historic Preservation Trust. It, quote, limits changes to the property including without limitation, division, or subdivision of Mar-a-Lago for any purpose including use as single-family homes, the interior renovation of the mansion, which may be necessary and desirable for sale of the property as a single-family residential suite, the construction of new buildings, and the obstruction of open vistas. The deed says, quote, the club and Trump intend to forever extinguish their right to develop or use the property for any purpose other than club use. And according to Trump, the deed language is not legally binding. He said, intend does not mean we will do it. If someone wanted to change it later, I believe they would have the right to do it. But Trump stopped short of saying he believed the property could be developed into a private residence. Quote, if somebody wanted it, the smartest thing to do, have a club and have one member, and that would be the member who lives in the club. But it's much more valuable and will show that in 2 weeks or 5 weeks or 9 weeks or whenever this thing goes, that its biggest value is in using it as a club. And although conservation easements in Florida are said to be perpetual, they can be amended or released by agreement with the easement holder. The National Historic Preservation Trust has agreed to amend conservation easements to allow development in the past. However, releasing an easement is controversial and is not guaranteed. The property sits on 17 acres between the Atlantic Ocean and Lake Worth, so Trump is right that it's potentially worth a lot of money. But Judge Engeron relied on the tax assessor's value, which put the market value of Mar-a-Lago at between 18 and 27.6 million. Now that's probably on the low end, especially since.
So they go to Mar-a-Lago and they discover that there's a lake right by the fucking ocean, and they're like, ooh, wherever freshwater and saltwater meets and is like the best fishing in the world. Let's sell that, and then so he buys Mar-a-Lago based off that. But you can already see the premise of how expensive it is already kind of crazy, like how expensive it's gonna be for him to buy that or pay for it or upkeep it. Plus, also the salt water probably decays the whole place and rots it, and just like everywhere else. And
since tax assessor valuations tend to be low, but at the end of the day, the tax assessor's value is still based on what Trump was telling the local tax assessor the property was worth, and that's a number based on his desire for low taxes and all the encumbrances on this land. And it sounds like Trump knows he might not have a legal right to build private residences on the property, but he leaves open the possibility of negotiating different restrictions with the National Trust. He can also argue that even with the deed broad language, there's still things that he can do to develop the property that would make the valuation higher. But Trump could also face opposition from the U.S. Treasury. If the easement was subject to an income tax deduction, then Treasury regulations suggest that easements must be perpetual and would need to be extinguished by a court. And
that was at my bar.
Trump with his own comments about the 40 Wall Street property, which he valued at more than $500 million. In 2009, Capital One expressed concerns about Trump's cash flow. The bank had lent him $160 million, and Trump was claiming that 40 Wall Street was worth $500 million, even though the building only produced $9 million in revenue that year. According to the Attorney General, Capital One met with Trump, and commercial real estate firm Cushman & Wakefield came in to assess the asset, determining it was worth $200 million as of August 1st, 2010. Trump, however, insisted the building was worth much more, at least $600 million, because it was allegedly making around $50 to $60 million per year. Trump apparently made these comments to a Forbes reporter on tape, but he told the court that he did not recall making the statements.
Where did you get that from?
Well, we're here to listen to what you have to say.
$64 million net after debt service this year, at least.
In a 2022 article, Forbes reported that Trump admitted in 2015 to his own involvement in bolstering his assets because a high net worth is, quote, good for financing. Trump first denied telling Forbes that he needed a good net worth, but then admitted that having a high net worth is helpful for some kinds of financing. 40 Wall Street apparently has never gotten close to raking in $50 million per year. Annual net operating income peaked at $20.7 million in 2018. And the Attorney General showed through Trump's testimony that despite much lower and sometimes even negative net revenue from leasing that same building, Trump used that $500 million valuation to get better loan terms. And Trump testified that the value of his property at 40 Wall Street is hundreds of millions of dollars more than what she says. She doesn't even know what 40 Wall Street is. And that led to a very testy lunch break. During the break, the parties continued to squabble, and Trump made a Truth Social post that only quoted part of the judge's quote, saying, "No, I'm not here to hear what President Trump has to say," and then left out the other part and all of the context of that particular quote. Then Attorney General James took to Twitter to fire back at Trump's testimony that she doesn't know what 40 Wall Street is, saying, quote, "Don't tell, I can see it from my office window." And then Trump's attorney, Lena Hoppe, spent her lunch break explaining herself to the NBC News correspondent, quote, "When I followed up on if she is urging Trump to answer more concisely, knowing Enron will be the one delivering penalties stemming from the suit, Hoppe said that she would not tell Trump that because she would not agree to represent someone and then try to limit their free speech." And then Hoppe later stood outside the courtroom and went into a full-on rant about the judge. Said Judge Enron turned red with rage when Trump testified and accused him of wanting to silence Trump.
Then why exactly am I being paid as an attorney, and why exactly are taxpayer dollars being used in this courtroom? You have a right to hire a lawyer who can stand up and say something when they see something wrong. But I was told to sit down today. I was yelled at, and I've had a judge who is unhinged slamming a table. Let me be very clear, I don't tolerate that in my life. I'm not going to tolerate it here.
Yeah.
And you know what? You shouldn't either.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Testify.
So basically, you can tell that they know they are getting absolutely screwed in the courtroom and are trying to try their case in the court of public opinion. This is a very unusual move, sure to piss off the judge. And yeah, it just doesn't recognize that judges have discretion to run their courtrooms how they want. And as a lawyer, usually you just have to live with it. They might be trying to save some things for appeal, but a lot of the day-to-day stuff that happens inside the courtroom is unappealable, and you're just going to have to live with it. Clearly, they are trying to do some stuff that is good for them in an extrajudicial context, but yeah, things are going from bad to worse inside of the courtroom. And then after lunch, the prosecutor questioned Trump about several loan agreements with Deutsche Bank. When Trump developed the old post office property in Washington, D.C., he had to agree to certain representations to get the loan. He affirmed to the bank that he had a minimum required cash balance, a minimum total net worth, and provided fair and accurate financial statements for the current and prior years. The Attorney General is trying to prove that Trump and his co-defendants deceived the bank to get favorable terms and a lower interest rate. And notably, Trump sold the old post office lease last year for $375 million. And Trump is expected to receive $126 million, with each of the adult kids expected to receive roughly $4 million from the sale. Trump affirmed that the total proceeds were $139 million. And I'm sure the Attorney General will argue that the state should be allowed to claw back those profits. Trump argued that he complied with the lending requirements, even though it doesn't look as if he was really worth $2.5 billion, as he alleged. Quote, "The numbers are far greater than the $2.5 billion, therefore you have no case." Now, one of the covenants that Trump affirmed to get the bank to lend is that his statement of financial condition are true and accurate in all material respects. However, when Assistant Attorney General Wallace asked Trump about the valuations of specific properties, Trump claimed that the documents included a disclaimer that absolved him and the company from liability for inaccuracies. Quote, "The disclaimer clause says, if there's a mistake, if there's something, don't rely on it. They always hold up in court, except maybe this court." Trump has been calling this a worthless clause.
But we have a clause in the contract. It's like a buyer beware clause.
Trump is referring to the disclaimers that his accountants included on the statements of financial condition. The disclaimer says that the statements were not audited, and the company can't say whether the financial statements complied with generally accepted accounting principles. But Judge Enron, as we've talked about, has already rejected this argument in his pretrial order. Quote, "Defendants' reliance on these, quote, worthless disclaimers is worthless. The worthless clause does not say what defendants say it says, does not rise to the level of an enforceable disclaimer, and cannot be used to insulate fraud as to facts particularly within defendants' knowledge, even vis-a-vis sophisticated recipients." And given this earlier ruling, Judge Enron wasn't willing to let Trump testify repeatedly that the disclaimers absolved him from liability. And even if this order did not already exist, Witnesses are there to testify about facts and generally cannot testify to their opinions about legal issues. Now, the Attorney General was arguing that Trump was desperate to inflate his personal wealth and that he told his family and company executives to manipulate the numbers. When Trump was asked about the valuations of specific properties, he insisted that some of the numbers were inflated because property values increase over time. In fact, discussing property valuations for 2014, Trump said, quote, "If you carry that forward to 2021, all of those valuations were low." So in Trump's mind, if a property was going to be worth more almost a decade later, he was justified in simply adding that increased value back in 2014. Not surprisingly, Judge Engoron previously rejected this argument. But then Trump testified that the valuations weren't accurate anyway because they didn't include his brand value, i.e. the value that Trump attributes to the Trump brand name. AG Wallace pounced on this response, quote, "Are you testifying that these financial statements are not accurate?" And then Trump tried to walk back the response by saying that they were accurate except for the brand value, plus the error he made in the square footage of his penthouse, plus an error in the overvaluation of the Seven Springs property. So yeah, a lot of errors. Now, Trump was also testifying that the banks didn't care about his financial statements and that the banks loved Trump because he helped them make money. However, when Wallace showed Trump a loan agreement he signed with Deutsche Bank in 2012, Trump agreed that his financial statements were intended to induce banks to lend money. And that's a key element of the Attorney General's fraud case. Despite Trump's denial to the contrary, the statements were
God damn it, I
designed to
keep
get favorable
having to
loan
potion to
interest
live
terms.
through those.
Trump then launched into a monologue about what his bankers will say and stressing that the financial statements were not really documents that the banks paid much attention to. They looked at the deal, they looked at the asset. If it is real estate, they looked at the location. Though a retired Deutsche Bank official had already testified that Trump's financial statements were the linchpin in his loan approvals. She also said that although the bank didn't do full appraisals, it sometimes gave haircuts to Trump's valuations. She said the bankers called them, quote, sanity checks on Trump's most important numbers. And Trump testified that he relied on two longtime Trump Organization executives and an outside accounting firm to prepare his financial statements. He said ex-CFO Alan Weisselberg would give him a draft before each year's statement was finalized and that he'd, quote, look it over and maybe have a suggestion, but it wasn't very important. You've made it important, but it wasn't very important to me. And the Attorney General's office asked Trump about the trust he established to manage his assets before he entered the White House. They established that Trump restored himself as the sole trustee shortly before Biden's inauguration, but then gave up control again in July of 2021, just days after Alan Weisselberg and the Trump Organization were indicted for tax fraud. At first, Trump claimed that he made Don Jr. his trustee because he trusted his business acumen and was returning to politics. But on cross-examination, Trump agreed that he did so because of increasing legal pressure. Quote, you and about every other Democrat district attorney, AG, and U.S. attorneys were coming at me from 15 different sides, all Democrats, Trump haters. Weisselberg pleaded guilty to tax fraud, and Wallace wanted to know if this changed Trump's opinion of Weisselberg's work for the company. Trump said yes, that Weisselberg was persecuted by the state because of his relationship with Trump, and Trump admitted knowing that the company was paying for Weisselberg's apartment, which was an issue in the tax fraud case. But Trump denied knowing that Weisselberg was reporting transactions inaccurately in the books and records of the company. Trump says that he learned that only in connection with the tax fraud trial. Now, what's really interesting is that Trump's testimony has been covered extensively by more than 200 news outlets. 32% of the reporting is coming from the left, and 26% is coming from the right. And if you compare the headlines, you'll start to see some interesting framing emerge. On the left, you have outlets using terminology like temper tantrum and out of control, with reference to Trump's disposition. While on the right, you'll find outlets using words like tangles or clashes. Now, these word changes are subtle, but they play a big role in how readers perceive the story. The first set of words might imply that Trump alone is acting out, while the second set of words might imply that Trump is defending himself against statements from the judge. Now, this is all possible thanks to today's sponsor, Ground News, a website and app developed by a former NASA engineer on a mission to give readers an easy, data-driven, objective way to read the news. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of the political bias, factuality, and ownership of the source's reporting, all backed by ratings from 3 independent news monitoring organizations. And I especially like the new Ground News comparison feature, which highlights specific differences between the left and right reporting. For stories on Trump's testimony, you can see that left-leaning outlets tend to focus on the trial itself, and that Judge Engoron has stated he'll draw negative inferences from Trump's testimony, while the right focuses on statements by Eric Trump attacking New York and saying the city is going to hell. And Ground News also has a blind spot feed, which highlights stories that are disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum. This is so important so we don't live in an echo chamber or get misled by subtle and sometimes not so subtle language in the news. So try out Ground News by clicking on the link that's on screen or down below. Just for Black Friday, starting now and continuing through November 30th, you can get their biggest sale of the year. Right now, you can get a 40% discount on Ground News' Vantage subscription. Their subscription includes unlimited access to all Ground News features, And with the sale, the subscription is only $5 a month. It's the biggest deal of the year. So go to ground.news/LegalEagle or click on the link below and you'll get a 40% discount to get unlimited access to their app, website, and newsletter for just $5 a month. And after that, click on this link over here for more Legal Eagle, or I'll see you in court.
Thank you, Legal Eagle, for the wonderful content for my stream. I'd like to sub to your channel. It was good. It was entertaining. Oh no.
Today we're talking about Colleen Ballinger's ukulele.
Yeah, it was really just, she apologized, but it doesn't matter, man.
List return to the internet. This ridiculous but juicy OpenAI Sam Altman situation. The Brazilian government's demanding answers after a Swiftie died at a Taylor Swift concert.
Oh no.
Controversy. We break down Javier Milei's win in Argentina. And charity hospitals. Are they actually charitable? We're talking about all that and so much more in today's brand new extra large Philip DeFranco show. You daily dive into the news. But first, I'm so excited I can make this announcement. Not only did the new drop just go live over at beautifulbastard.com, but it is going live during our Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. So that means you're going to be able to get stuff from our new drop for 20% off, but also the stuff that's been on site, some of that is going for up to 75% off right now. So go get it now while it lasts. Like, I'm just trying to empty our warehouse. But also, as far as the new fantasticness, if you like color, you're going to love this. We got keep going tie-dye fleeces, full and quarter zips. The No Feeling is final tie-dye crew and tee. A brand new emotionally exhausted scooper ringer tees and color block hoodies. It was a surprise hit last year, so we got a Hail Santa hoodie and tee. Also hitting you with accessories like a bullet journal, a vegan matte leather messenger bag, steel pendant, emotionally exhausted snapbacks, and more. So yeah, grab what you want while you can. But that said, we got a lot of news to talk about today, so let's just jump into it. Starting with, Colleen Ballinger knows that her toxic gossip train ukulele song thing was a cringy disaster. Which I know it's been a while since we said that name, so for some catch up, like earlier this summer, she was accused of bullying, abusing, and manipulating her young fans along with other inappropriate behavior. But those accusations just mounting over time, and then she ended up addressing it by singing a song on the ukulele, which people absolutely hated and made the whole situation bigger and worse. I mean, to such a point that when other creators and celebrities did apologies, people would like Photoshop in a ukulele. With Ballinger then just proceeding to disappear from online life, but over the weekend she actually posted her first video since all of that, called Fall Vlog. Well, most of the video ends up actually being a traditional vlog. She starts it off by addressing everything and calling her song embarrassing and adding,
I was being accused of some pretty awful things, and I just was mad, and I should have handled that situation with maturity and empathy. But instead, I just let my ego take over, and I really disappointed myself.
They're then moving on to address some of the actual allegations at hand.
Over the last 15 years of my career, there have been moments where I was immature and inappropriate with some of my comedy. And there were times when I did not put enough thought into some of my fan interactions. And because of that behavior, people got hurt. And I am so sorry.
And with all that, saying that she never wanted to hurt anyone, but it's clear that she did what she feels terrible about. And also apologizing to anyone who feels abandoned by her over her silence over the last few months. With that, saying she felt she needed to take the time to listen and learn, adding she's been in therapy. And saying going forward, she plans on making some changes, including by making sure she creates an inclusive and safe space with her content. And adding,
if you want to be a part of my journey online, I would love to have you, and if not, I completely understand. I do not expect anyone to welcome me back with open arms. I don't expect to change anyone's mind with this video.
Ballinger going on to say that
You should have just stopped talking.
And learn from their mistakes.
I'm learning.
About 3 minutes
I'm learning that apologies are just more recognition of what you did bad, and that the public's mind is fickle. There's always like some period. I think it's like 7 weeks. Oh, yep. Oh, yeah. He needs watchers, huh? All right.
Aggro. 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 Aggro.
No.
Aggro. Aggro. Aggro.
Everything in the video switches to kind of like a more normal vlog where she goes through the motions of her day. And as far as the reactions to this, I mean, in the comments, the responses are a little bit mixed. Some are happy about this return, some feel uncertain, saying things like, I'm really feeling torn. Used to be a huge fan, was pretty upset to see all the things that came out about you. I'm happy to know that you were doing well. I feel like apology was sincere, but I want to see accountability and whether it is public or private apologies to those involved. Though also here, this is one of those stories where it's like, depending on where you go, the responses are very different. For example, on Twitter, the responses are more negative, with people saying things like, after 6 months, Colleen Ballinger basically said the victims are worth 3 minutes of her time. Really think about how fucked up that is. 3 minutes after endless evidence and videos. As well as, I'm tired of people saying she apologized, move on. You've done as much as Colleen Ballinger. You can't just lump countless apologies into one vague 3-minute apology section of a blog. But some also accusing her of coming back before Thanksgiving so she can cash in on the money that comes from ads during the holiday season. But for her part, it does seem like she plans on continuing being online because she's actually already posted a second vlog since her return. With this news, this update to a situation that was just so massive in the past, I gotta know, what are your thoughts right now? Which camp are you landing in and why? And then, y'all, this OpenAI Sam Altman situation is insane. This is one of the craziest, most ham-fisted stories I've seen in the business space in a long time. Whereas if you don't know, Sam Altman was the CEO of OpenAI, and he was the face of ChatGPT up until Friday. Because that is when the board of the company shocked everyone and just gave him the boot. The company is saying in a blog post, Mr. Altman's departure follows a deliberative review process by the board, which concluded that he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. The board no longer has confidence in his ability to continue leading OpenAI. This is reportedly Altman clashed with the board over how quickly to develop generative AI, commercializing OpenAI's products, and what steps the company needs to take to lessen their potential harm to the public. And of all the board members, Altman reportedly butted heads the most with Ilya Sutskever. With all this, within hours of Altman being fired, we saw saw OpenAI president and co-founder Greg Brockman quitting in solidarity, along with a string of other senior researchers. We also had investors, including Microsoft, who just put so much money into this company, saying they were completely blindsided by the board's decision to fire Altman, but also notably since saying they remain committed to the partnership with the company. However, then over the weekend, the board seemed to reconsider their decision, because on Saturday night, less than a day later, there was reportedly a memo sent to staff saying the company was optimistic about getting Altman and others back on board. And according to Bloomberg, Altman was open to returning, but called for the removal of the current board and a statement absolving him of any wrongdoing. With reportedly the board initially agreeing to step down, but then they backpedaled and refused, bringing us to yesterday when the board appointed yet another interim CEO, Emmett Shear. Shear then taking over from Mira Barati, who was just appointed following Altman's removal. So 3 CEOs in as many days. So then, as far as Altman and Brockman, boom, news breaks this morning, notably before opening bells for the stock market. They're now going to work for Microsoft, leading a new advanced AI research team. But this also, as now 500 of the around 700 staff at OpenAI are threatening to go as well, saying in a letter to the board, unless they reinstate Altman and step down themselves, the hundreds of employees will accept positions offered in Altman's new team at Microsoft. And interestingly enough, Ilya's name is on that letter, despite reportedly leading the push to fire Altman. Also, notably with that, earlier this morning, he tweeted, "I deeply regret my participation in the board's action. I never intended to harm OpenAI. I love everything we've built together, and I will do everything I can to reunite the company." Also with this, OpenAI's new CEO, Emmett Shear, has announced that he will be bringing on an independent investigator to look into the firing of Altman, and saying in a tweet, "It's clear that the process and communications around Sam's removal has been handled very badly, which has seriously damaged our trust." And going on to say that he plans to, quote, reform the management and leadership team and push for change within the company, including, quote, significant governance changes if necessary. Which with that, it brings us up to the present, but understand this is still a developing situation. Also a really just weird situation. We were talking about OpenAI. As far as companies that have hype and a lot of attention, there's very few that have more than OpenAI right now. And for their very public founder to all of a sudden just unceremoniously get kicked out at the end of the day on a Friday, like, what is happening there? So without a doubt, I think more information has to be coming out soon. But in the meantime, as the story continues to develop, I gotta ask you, what are your thoughts here? Let me know in those comments down below. And then, for your daily online drama news, let's talk about this Pokimane situation. Because the way the cookie has crumbled the situation, I hate saying it that way, but the way things have played out has been very interesting. Like, we talked about this previously. She just launched a new snack company called Mina Snacks, specifically releasing gluten-free cookies made with natural ingredients and no preservatives. And there was initially some backlash about how the cookies were made, if she just stuck her branding on an already existing product, which she denied. And while that aspect of this whole thing is kind of played out, today's controversy has to do with the price of the cookies, because it costs $28 for a pack of 4 bags. Some people with that thing that's pretty steep and criticizing her. And all of this appeared to get so much bigger because she seemingly addressed this over the weekend, saying,
when people are like, "Oh my god, $28 for cookies?"
She sounds tired.
That's $7 a bag.
Like, she sounds so tired and so out of it that I think she's been taken advantage by marketing people who have just used her image to sell something. And she's going to catch the flack for it. And I don't know, man. I see somebody who has little to nothing to do with that side of it. She's the entertainer. She's the face. I doubt she thinks about the deals or any of that stuff. I don't think she's got the time or the throughput for it. She hired somebody else to do that, and they screwed her here. And now she's gonna get torched because of it. Not torched, but definitely gonna take it like a PR hit over this. And I see the interference of other humans. I doubt she had anything to do with this.
I know math is hard when you're an idiot, but
why would you attack your like constituency like that? I guess if they say something offensive like women shouldn't be able to come back and charge make rape charges 10 years later or something, you kick them. But you don't but this stuff about like, oh, you're an idiot, and that stuff, I don't know. I'll say that about a stream sniper or a hacker or a problem child, but I'm not gonna say it about my fucking people. No.
Like, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
The people getting
if you're a broke boy, just say so. Like, you'll never hear me making comments like that. Doesn't matter. They could pipe in $100 million. I'm not gonna talk like that.
Pissed about her comment there, saying things like, these streamers are getting so out of touch with reality. It's
yeah, it's because they got all the money that all the streamers should have gotten. It's so annoying. Like 100 of them are getting like 1 million fucking streamers money, and that needs to end. That needs to just change. When they all implode and they all get busted for like calling Ballinger stupid shit, like I'm just saying, like I think it's hard to justify paying this little amount of people the entire kitty for what they're actually supplying, which is essentially React content. They got extremely rich, extremely fast, extremely like just fat off the land, and I struggle with it a little bit. Like the rich, like broke boy stuff, that weird bougie shit from rap. I've never understood that for me, and this is gonna sound racist, but I don't mean this. For I don't mean it as a racist thing. I'm gonna say it though. For a music and a culture and an underground belief, I know because I come from that culture and stuff. Rap is great, but the bougie shit just does not reflect. It does not reflect most of the people listening to the music. It just does not. That weird bougie fucking like Young Money stuff. It's cool to be proud of your achievements, but like acting like all of the people who listen to your music are making their money like that is just bullshit. Most of those people are struggling with dead end jobs, and they're going to the clubs and they can't afford it. And if they're dating somebody, they can't afford to date them, that kind of thing. They don't have that kind of money. Like most times when you have enough money to date somebody, you're working 9 to 5, you know? So it's just sort of weird. It's like this thing about yeah, like calling your fans dumb and poor. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if they're attacking you, yeah.
I love when streamers get so rich that they start calling their fans dumb and poor. It's so awesome. And listen, if I ever become a millionaire and start calling my audience broke, just beat me up. I give you all permission right now. Yep. Even big names like Voice Critical chiming in.
I don't know what would possess her to say something so rude and nasty to the audience she is trying to sell this product to.
I agree.
Your wealth was built on their backs.
So it is also worth noting that some people did defend her, saying it's just another case of people finding an excuse to call her out, arguing if you can't afford the cookies, don't buy them. It's so simple. This girl
no, this isn't cancel. She said that stuff. This isn't some question mark kind of like SS Sniper. This is a bit more shots fired, no reason, totally disrespecting the people who put her there. And that's weird because of all the people that I have seen in this scene, she was the one least likely to be that way. Absolutely. She was the most nice one, I think. She had the niceness deep in her soul, but you can see what the money's doing to her. She goes home to her, well, not go home, so she goes to bed in her nice, like, king size fucking, you know, feather down mattress with her servants who take care of it every day and all this stuff. And she's like, you know, she's got aides and assistants and people kind of like, you know, what's her name? Ariana Grande. And she's living an Ariana Grande life, and that means money and image and appeal and all this other stuff. I get it. But what I don't get is that stuff about that bougie shit, like making fun of people who don't have money and stuff. Just a reminder, every time someone watches an ad on your video, A, they're not paying you any money, Google is. B, like, it takes a lot of hits and a lot of interest to make any money doing it. Why would you ever attack them? And C, they're not paying you. They don't have money sometimes. A lot of those people that are like, oh, she's right, and are defending her are also like 15-year-olds from the ghetto. And you know this. They're like, this is just true. It's just how it is. Like, we know that some of these people supporting her are going to be from the ghetto. And they're like, haha, yeah, shit on all these bougie peons. When really they're from the ghetto and they're living off of food stamps, and the only reason they have a home is because of their family. And all this other shit about America right now. Nobody lives like Pokimane. Like 1% of us live like Pokimane. So this shit about, oh, make fun of the dumb poor people. Yeah, that's not a good look, man. That's that Louis XIV, we hang you up in the square, like, stuff, you know. That's you know, Louis XIV, that's our 13th. It's that stupid bougie shit that we brought the guillotine to the circle for, you know. And we're gonna guillotine you. Don't make fun of the people who brought you here off the sweat of their money, off the sweat money of their backs, right? Don't make fun of the people who brought you here. It's not a good look. It's just not. Yeah. Like honestly, okay, I kicked somebody recently who gave me a video game that was worth $20, and I lie awake like sleepless at night over that. This girl, she just thinks because they validated her to the tune of $20 million or whatever the fuck, that she can just do what she wants and be this image and all that. And I get that, but oh man, none of those sold. None of them sold. Oh come on. Whatever. Just repost. It's still a lot of money. Damn it, not a single one sold. I posted 40 of the cheapest light armor kits on the auction. Not one of them sold in 8 hours, and they were the cheapest. I don't really fucking get that. You guys just took it as a price point and went lower, I guess. But I thought I was the lowest it could get, and that's so stupid. You guys fucked me on that. Only made 4 sales before they just manipulated the price. And I mean, I'm not going to keep reposting all this. It's so expensive that I'd rather just vendor it all. It's okay.
Welcome to my inn, weary traveler. What can I do for you?
I don't know. Yeah, I will vendor like a lot of this because some of it's just resales, and I'd rather just make my money at that point. Yeah, I'd just rather make my money from this than... Oh, now that was a heavy linen. Those are good, but I mean, I'll still take the money. It's fine. Frankly, yeah, I'll just take the money. It's good. Wait, I just sold 3 food that I should keep, and that's my bandages. I forgot which character I was on. Yep, there we go. Yep, and we'll just... I wish I got my level before I came here, I guess. But no, I didn't get my level before I came here. And that's annoying. I've got to fly back and waste 2 silver just to kill like 2 mobs. I was just so full that I was like, I don't know what to do here. It's alright. I wish the crafting would give you XP. It's the only change.
World's on fire, but actual problematic streamers do wild shit and y'all stay shut. And as someone with celiac disease, I spend anywhere from $5 to $10 for a single bag of certified gluten-free cookies every time I shop. This pricing is normal for gluten-free goodies.
Yeah, I have this same issue. I have celiac disease too, and I spend $5 to $10 for a single bag of certified gluten-free cookies and bread as well. On doctor's orders. I don't like this, and we struggle with it. We look for deals all the time on the bread that I eat and the cookies that I get and stuff. But yeah. So here we go. That was good. We have more heavy linen bandage and more first aid skill up. That's a good idea. Going to Stormwind and being like looking for STV group quests, yeah. Like get them all knocked out and stuff, yeah. If you're a broke boy, just say so. Come on. Like, man, I think TLC kind of did this, but you could tell they had the social clout to do it. Remember that song Scrubs, and they basically made fun of the people who were listening to them in the club, you know, and they were like, well, I don't want no scrubs. Scrub is guy can't get no love from me. But then it goes on to explain why they feel this is because they're constantly getting hollered at by fucking broke ass motherfuckers who obviously don't roll at the same caliber as they do. And honestly, I think that was a good reason to do that song, and I like that song a lot. And I lived by that song, and I was like, well, don't be the scrub that's too broke to be around or whatever. You know, I don't mind the song, but I do view it as attacking people who made you who you are. And knowing T-Boz, she probably like regretted the song in the end, but they needed a banger on that album, and that was it. That was a banger on that album, you know. Just like Waterfalls, they weren't going to be able to keep up the pace that Waterfalls had, and so you know, and that's one degree of it, but you can tell they were sick of this sexist treatment from broke ass motherfuckers, and that I get. That I think gives them the license to do that song. Pokemon talking like this, she doesn't have the license. She's not. She doesn't have broke people problem. I have a lot of millions of dollars because of people problem, and I'm about to throw it away problem kind of thing. She's not making a sexist complaint like TLC Scrubs was. She's making like a full-blown if you're broke you suck complaint, and that's not too good.
Y'all just love to hate successful women, which I will say, my celiac writer Maddie can confirm that price point. That ends up kind of just being part of it.
I mean, I can confirm that too. I have celiacs, and it's so expensive. It's fucking expensive, and they see you coming, and they charge like $7 for a loaf of bread and $4 for cookies or whatever, $4 to $7 and shit. So yeah, and I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one with celiacs in this world. We're terrified to think that maybe after eating bread, this white American bread all of our lives, that it gives you celiac disease, which is this thing where you are intolerant to gluten and it makes you break out in hives all the time. And that's what, if you see like a hive on my face or a pimple or whatever, those aren't pimples. That's like if I had gluten, and the gluten's in everything, fucking everything. Just like sugar. Just like, I mean, it's in everything. So you have to be so careful. And I can confirm that while that price point isn't that crazy, it's like, it is when you make fun of your fans afterwards.
Of her life, she's made peace with $10 bags of cookies a long time ago. But also with this, you know, saying, yes, people have and do go after Pokimane for kind of nothing bullshit. But here, shaming someone for not having money is an ugly, nasty look. And for her part, Pokimane did actually respond to all this backlash, writing, well, what I said was 100% intended to be a joke. I see why it came off as insensitive, and I apologize for that. I also understand the current price of the cookies may be expensive for some, and promise we'll continue to consider price.
She thinks this is about the price of the cookie. Nah, you made fun of the broke boy. You about to get canceled. You about to get like, this was a bad PR move. Your manager, this keeps coming up, right? The manager's in the background like, no, don't say it. No, stop, right? But she's alone in her bedroom with no guidance and no lawyer. And she, you know, her managers are like, stop in large caps on her screen, you know. And she's like, wait,
keep mine as affordable as possible. And also saying that her comment was specifically referring to one rude person in the chat. It wasn't supposed to apply generally to her whole community. But ultimately, that is where we are with this situation right now. And I'd love to know where you went.
You did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You met the entire fucking people. You're talking about, you were using the royal broke boy. Yes, you were.
And on this, what are your thoughts on the comments?
But it doesn't matter. Even if she does get canceled, she made her 20 or 30 million. She can retire.
Adventurer? No,
she should retire. She's been at this too long. Leave some of the money for the rest of us.
Good work, friend. You have earned your pay well. Who knows? Perhaps Westfall will prosper once again.
I actually was in a party with Pokimane once on Elden Ring, of all places. And that happened on stream. I ended up in a fucking, like, with the original Pokimane name on Steam. And she was killing the boss. And I couldn't kill that boss because I had, like, gone the separate route. So I just left the group. I didn't even get to fight with her. I just left the group because she had killed the boss. There was nothing. She was killing a boss that I couldn't see. So at the Bestial Sanctum, and I was like, okay, well, I can't play with her. Goodbye. And I left. I could have hung around, I guess. There was some interest in my stream when it happened, but like, okay, I've got these now. Yeah, I'm just looking around for these like things. Yeah, these like stacks of these sack of oats. These are hard to find.
Her response, the whole celiac situation, and also, has your opinion of this whole situation changed from the first time we talked about it to now this bit? And then, you know, I'm looking forward to the deliciousness of Thanksgiving dinner, and this year I won't have to feel guilty.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is coming up, huh?
Thanks to the sponsor of today's show, Sundays. Because with Sundays, my dogs feel like they're eating their best meal every day. Right? Sundays is fresh dog food made from a short list of human-grade ingredients containing 90% meat, 10% veggies, and 0 synthetic nutrients. Sunday uses an air-dry process, so it doesn't require refrigeration. You just pour and serve, and it's super easy to store. But I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that our dogs are obsessed with this food. They see the box, and it's Thanksgiving dinner to them every time. You know, we love feeding them quality food, but also the convenience of home delivery is where it's at for us. You know, because at some point, I think a lot of us have been in that position where all of a sudden all the food's gone. You're resorting to like.
So it's funny for somebody who is making fun of somebody for the bougie shit with the $7 cookies. He sure is selling expensive pet food on the side.
bread or whatever.
And I see hypocrisy here. Somebody should say it. I see hypocrisy here, you know?
Only does Sundays cost 40% less than other healthy dog food brands. They're offering their best deal yet for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, 60% off. So y'all take advantage of Sunday's Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale from November 16th to the 30th and get 60% off your first order of Sunday. Just click the link in the description and your dogs will thank you. And take comfort knowing that they're vet founded and vet run. And then a fan died at the Eras Tour this weekend, and we've got to talk about it. Because over the weekend, Taylor Swift was in Brazil as part of the international leg of her tour while the country was being hit with a massive heat wave. I mean, temperatures were over 100 degrees and felt astronomically higher as thousands of fans waited for hours outside to be let into the stadium, where notably no personal water bottles were allowed. And one of those fans was 23-year-old Ana Clara Benavides, who had reportedly taken her first flight ever to come see Taylor Swift Friday night. And
in Brazil, it's like not the middle of the winter, it's the middle of the summer. It's funny.
Felt ill before the show. According to a statement from the organizers' Time for Fun, Anna was attended by paramedics and then taken to the stadium for a state center. From there, she was taken to a hospital and then died. And then later, Van's father giving a statement to a local outlet and saying, "I lost my only daughter, a happy and intelligent girl.
We need
She
to
was
know
about
who
to
heads up the
graduate in
cartel
psychology next
and where
April,
they are
saving
hiding
money.
out.
I have no word."
In Lakeshore, in the inn, there is a rogue by the name of Wiley who owes me a favor. Travel to Lakeshore in the Red Ridge Mountains, east of Elwyn, and find out what you can.
Yeah, I'd like to finish this pillager quest, but I'm like done with the zone, pretty much. That's not bad. I do need to go train, which is annoying. I'm gonna go find the flight path. Yeah. Gotta go fly back to Stormwind now, kill 5 mobs, fly back. I lost some silver there, but I'm up. I'm up like gold-wise, level-wise, doing better now. Doing better in hardcore. Can't go into like group areas like I've been doing. It's dangerous.
Where are you going?
And I'm learning
Well,
that group areas will just get you killed. They'll spawn right. It has nothing to do with you. Group areas are designed to get you killed by someone else's spawn, and I didn't really understand that fundamentally until yesterday. If you go in, it doesn't matter. Like, you will be spawned by other people's mobs, and how good you are is whether or not you have your cooldowns up to deal with that. I'm learning now not to go into the monuments without I gotta walk to Red Ridge, which is annoying. Into the monuments without your cooldowns up, and then you're probably fine. At the very least, you can probably live long enough to sprint out. I'm learning that if you really want to live, so you can use your sprint like a trinket to break a Frost Nova, which I might have to put points into, even though I really don't want to, because I might fucking need that. If for some reason every man doesn't exist in this, I mean, yeah, every man for himself did not exist back in this like version of classics. So I do have the human spirit, which is nice spirit, but and sword specialization, which is good. Like I forgot about the sword specialization. Yeah, humans are good at swords. It makes it fun to have a sword in my offhand because I do get a bonus for that. I think the other version of OnlyFangs is called Fangsley, because I keep seeing them accrue in the center of Stormwind. Yep, and when they're not here, no one's here. But when they are here, like, this place packs full. It's like all of these video game people, they're like flocking to clicks and like declaring under a banner. And while I did do this all my life, I did stuff like that all my life, I don't want it now. I don't want it now. I don't want that kind of weird clicky behavior now. I have no desire for that. Like, I don't need an army. I think they view it as like I need an army. No, I don't think I need that. I don't think I need that. I could cure that hide, and I think it's worth more. I don't know. Anyways, let's go to the trainer. I think about where I'm going. Yep.
You look like the type I should watch my coin.
Expose,
Something I can
Garrote,
help you with?
Sinister Strike. Perfect. Damage went up. Expose. Garrote. Which is gonna replace, yeah, it was just gonna sit there. That's my opener. Yep, and then pickpocket on mouse 5, and then expose, Garrote, and a new Sinister Strike, which is good. And we're about to cap out the points, and lightning reflexes finally move on to precision. When I finish precision, I get to go dual wield specialization. When I'm done with that, I come over here for improved eviscerate, and man, that 2% buff. Yeah, so this one would be good. Malice, yeah, we'll go improved eviscerate next. I mean, I don't know. I should be closing with slice and dice at this point pretty much all the time. It's much more rare for me to be using eviscerate. Eviscerate is a luxury I don't have anymore now that I have expose. So we're going to run slice and dice on my bar. We're going to put the eviscerate on the 3 key and the fucking expose on the 4 key. And we're going to start thinking of it as slice and dice because it needs to be up all the time. It's like the uptime on slice and dice must be all the time. All the time. Now, I have a lot of money. Maybe I can buy weapons. I kind of doubt it, but, you know, it never hurts to go look. Actually, yeah, I mean, yeah, chest piece is good. A bracer would be good. It would be good to now fill in the greens that I don't have, like boots, gloves. I might take a look at those first, actually. See if I can get agi on anything for affordable. You never know. I'm learning to, like, every 2 levels to come back to town and just improve your gear to the extent that your money can reach, because everything is so nasty. It's not that it's hard. It's that any fuck-ups at all are just basically game over, man. Game over. You can sprint and you can evasion some of it, but the minute that you get in something that you don't have cooldowns for, it's game over. You're done. You can't just pull the wind out of your ass. You'll need help from the outside. Yeah.
Urge to express my pain. She left home to fulfill a dream and came back dead. But then also calling for an investigation into his daughter's death and asking why the Swifties weren't allowed to bring their own water into the stadium. So the situation has brought a lot of scrutiny at a time for fun. And not just
I'm not going to
Swifties,
find
but
a
also
better
Brazil.
dagger yet, I don't think. But I could find a better sword here for cheap. Let's see. Yeah, well, maybe. Let's see. Usable items. We're looking at Blackwater Cutlass for 34. 2 agi sword, 1.9. It's pretty good. It's an upgrade, and it's what I should buy. It's a dagger main. Oh, I mean, no, this is a sword. Let's look at what options are daggers as well, because I don't know if there's something better. It might be better. This dagger is better. It has agi. It's going to be markedly better than anything here. So the dagger doesn't change. We do buy the one-hand sword with the agi on it, because that's huge. And so, yep. All right, 34. It's expensive, but I mean, it's a nice cutlass. With oh, there's Scimitar of Attune, but it's even more. I wish I could get this cheaper, but I mean, I can't. So Blackwater Cutlass, will take it. It's a nice sword. You know, fuck it. It'll look cooler than this other crappy, like, baseline sword. It'll look cooler and curvy and stuff when I fight. I wish I could go enchanting right now. I could just drop leatherworking. I don't seem to have an interest in it. I believe I will. Look at all those greens that didn't sell. Yeah, I believe I will go draw for enchanting now. I spent some money here, but I have enough left over. I will go draw. Oh, thank you. Yep. I'll go drop this for. Oh, let's get a new weapon on. Yep, nice. Yeah, I mean it looks exactly like a dagger, which is kind of annoying. It looks exactly like a dagger, but it is longer. It is longer, but I mean it does look like a fucking dagger, I gotta say. But oh well. It looks awesome, and it's got good damage, like really like solid damage. So, yes, we go enchanting, which memory serves is this direction. Usually it would be there. That's where it is in the new world, I think. But in the old world, the enchanter is over here. Yeah, and I'll begin, like, since I'm grinding so much, I'll begin to disenchant these things, and eventually I'll have weapon glow. That's what I want it for. I want the weapon glows. It makes me stand out. Alchemy needs herbalism trainer. This is the effeminate side of Stormwind. All the mage cultures and the drunks and the mages and the mages are all drunks. So we come here. There's clothiers and enchanters and alchemy and gem crafters and stuff over here. There's not a lot of like brute force arts like blacksmithing or metallurgy or any of that. It's all like fairy stuff. Magic stuff. I can't remember. I need a guard now. Damn it. I can't remember where this is anymore. It's been so long. I really don't know. I remember it being here, or no, I remember it being like right around here. But let's see. I think I got very close at least.
Directions to. Which profession trainer are you looking for?
Looking for enchanting. You are enchanting.
Has a small shop on the canal by the stockade. I am sure he will be able to teach you the art of enchanting.
Oh yeah, is that where it's always been? I think that's where it still is. Yeah, I was close. I was like right at it, but I remember it being back in the hallway by the Duncan's Textiles. But nope. I think it is in some versions of WoW. I think it is back in there by the Textiles place. They moved it, but like yeah, but this does not seem like the enchanter place because there's no sign on it. See, it's so weird. Anyways,
Greeting. Hail, traveler. What brings
yeah,
you to my
we're gonna
doorstep?
drop leatherworking now. It didn't really go anywhere. I just feel like I'd make more money selling the leather, and so we're gonna go
Safe
drop a
travels.
profession now. I even spent some money into it, I think actually, but I'm okay with that. We're gonna go see skills, leatherworking is nice, and I spent I put some money into it, which is kind of dumb. But I don't think I'm going to take leatherworking, unfortunately.
Hail, traveler. What brings you to my doorstep?
This.
Go with honor, friend.
You are not ready. Speak to Betty Quinn.
A
She's
smart,
standing by
rich
the stairs
person,
over
or
there.
even not really a
Return
rich
to me
person,
when
but
you have achieved a higher enlightenment.
if I was smart, I would
sell
spend
only the
all of my
finest
money on this
arcane
stuff,
gear
the strange
made
dust,
by
but
the crafters and mages here in the city of Stormwind.
copper
Since the fall
rod,
of Dalaran and the
simple
destruction
wood.
of Quel'Thalas, wares of this sort have been hard to come by. But Luke and Cordell and some of our other tradesmen have been doing a fine job of filling our orders with quality merchandise.
Enchanting. Disenchanting. And there we go. Then we can go through and we can break all this stuff. Yep, and we got 4 strange dust, which is
I
nice.
sell only the finest
But
arcane
in order
gear
to make a
made by
rune
the
copper rod,
crafters and
I will
mages here in
need
the city of Stormwind.
one of these lesser essences, which is a pain in the ass. That's a lot of money, but it's okay. I might have been able to get that cheaper from the auction house. I think I probably could have. Damn it. Oh well, that's okay. It's I'm right here. It doesn't matter. Tempted to buy another one, but I'm gonna need the money. Okay. cool. Looking good. We can go and... Oh, there's another shield, huh? Yeah, give me that. Nice. Another strange dust, but it wasn't enough. Why is it all bracer stuff? It's so dumb. Couldn't it be better? Oh, well. Don't you get, like, skill up from disenchanting? Yeah, I think you do. So now I'm kind of curious to see how far 10 silver might get me. If they sell any greens at all for cheap, but I kind of doubt it, you know? I wonder what this strange dust will go for. Is it like a lot? No. But it would, yeah, and it would have been significantly cheaper to buy off auction house. I shouldn't buy that from vendor ever again. I didn't realize. I just assumed it couldn't be cheaper than vendor, but it is. It's cheaper than vendor. Yep. So not much else to do here. We're resetting, and I've got 14 silver left. I could look at one of these holes that I've got, which is like bracer maybe. I doubt it, but you never know. 33 silver, 7 silver. It's significantly better for 7 silver. Inscribed leather, prospector's cuffs. The prospector's cuffs are what I want, but they're all too expensive. It's annoying. Feral binds of the owl. It would be nice to have something with... I'll save up for something with agility on it. So there's a no. Oh, there's monkey for 10 gold. Damn, yeah, bracers are not easy. So that's okay. Levels will fix it. 14 silver. I really shouldn't get any less money than that because it's just like a necessity that I keep moving forward. So, oh, while I'm here though, while I'm here though, I'll buy like a 2-pack of potions to replace the fucking potions I've had to burn so far. I've definitely been tearing through my money in potions, really, but I mean, that's okay. We're relearning WoW. It's been 8 years since I've really played it as a main like this, and that's okay. 2 silver for 1. I'll take the 1 cheap one, I guess. Yeah, like, you got anything else? No, I want direct just that. Like, you got anything cheaper? I'll take that one for 2 silver. Yeah, that's it. That's it. These are a hot commodity. It's unfortunate. Maybe I might win a good bid here. I don't really want to lock up 62 copper, but I mean, might catch a good deal there, so I'm just gonna do it. Got a new sword. That was a good use of the money. Oh, gotta loot my potion. We got 6, 7 potions. That's good. That'll see me through. Food would be good, but I mean, I assume I can probably fix that problem by myself, right? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll be alright. I could spend some money on some bread. Or cheese. Go see if there's a cheap cheese. I've always liked this mistress of cheese.
Just browsing my wares, or
She
is there
is
something
a
specific I
mistress
can
of
help you
cheese.
find today?
Yeah, that's cheap enough that I can afford it, I believe. Yeah, 243 for Dalaran Sharp, and that's freshly baked bread. It's good. It's weird.
Best deals in all of Stormwind, my friend. Won't find any better. Now, what can I help you with?
Best deals in all of Stormwind, my friend. Won't find any better. Now, what can I help you with?
Yeah, I think 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, that'd be like 4 silver. Yeah. Yeah, let's definitely go full stack of that and then sell the bread to recoup. And that way I don't like, yeah, these singles, I don't want those singles. I don't want those extra heavy linens. Yeah, the Dalaran Sharp, yeah, it's worth the 4 silver to me. And yeah, we're looking pretty good there. Okay, we are tuned up and ready to go back out into the wild. I have a lot of meat here that I would like to, like, I guess I could go if I have, no, I don't have anything I can really cook here, no. So, I'm going to dump all that in the bank. I'm going to take a trip to the bank, because, did I make a ruined copper rod? Yes, I did, but I bought I bought an extra simple wood. I'm going to put it away. Yeah, some of this stuff should be put away. There's an extra axe, which is fine, I suppose. That'll eventually disappear.
Welcome to the Bank of Stormwind.
And
We offer financial accounts and safety deposit boxes for valuable items.
I could go cooking. I need the raw longjaw mud snapper recipe, as well as like all of these. Really, I could go cooking, but I need raw longjaw, and I don't know where they sell that. Raw longjaw recipe. Mud Snapper and Classic is sold by in Elwyn Forest. Theron Bowden, the fish vendor, does sell raw longjaw. So I guess I've got to walk to Goldshire with this fish. But I believe I can cook in the inn. Yeah, I can cook in the inn and do what I need to do here. Boar ribs. Yeah, all that stuff. All that food, right? Oh, hey, there's a bow, but I want to keep that. I think there's no way I'm going to Darnassus, but I kind of want to sell these potions. I think I probably will, as well as... No, I'll sell the bow. Fuck it. The bow will be good money, and I don't need it right now, because the chances of me getting to Darnassus anytime soon are just, frankly, zero. Like, basically zero. I'm not spending a gold on... I'm not walking all the way the fuck over there. I could, I suppose. Like, on Sunday, I'll walk to Darnassus. That's a valid thing to do. But I'm not doing that right now. There's no fucking way. So, yeah, we're going to do some selling here. What is, yep, non-essential. Yep, that go. Yep, take it. Yep, that again. Sell it. Actually, maybe I would get more money from, well, yeah, like, I don't know. It's debatable. I think okra sells. No. So that, okay, that will make it, yeah, I don't want to sell almost any of the rest of that. The red linen shirts were 62 copper. I wanted to, oh yeah, I'm here to sell the bow. The bow will sell. Yeah, the bow will sell well. Yep, like 10 silver. Sure, I'll take 10 silver for that. Yeah. And, those. I think those, I don't need those anymore. No. Yep. And, yeah, and then raw, yeah, so gotta go buy a recipe that I don't have, I think. Yeah, I don't have that recipe. It's annoying, so we'll go to Goldshire, which isn't fun.
Government, who notably has reportedly said they will be investigating Time for Fun, and the Office of Rio's public prosecutor has opened a criminal investigation into the case. And with this, when Taylor learned of Anna's death, she shared a statement on Instagram saying she was devastated and mad. I'm not going to be able to speak about this from stage because I feel overwhelmed by grief when I even try to talk about it. I want to say now I feel this loss deeply, and my broken heart goes out to her family and friends. This is the last thing I ever thought would happen when we decided to bring this forward.
Yeah, how is this her fault? It is not her fault that it was 100 degrees out. That is not her fault. Are we going to blame them for the weather? It's easy to take shots at them up there, but are we going to blame them for the fucking weather? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Headlines. But this also, as many other Swifties have suffered in the extreme heat, countless feigning and getting sick.
Yeah, that Travis Scott concert that set us all off, and now they're looking at ways of canceling people. It's not good.
Video circulating online of Taylor stopping the show as her fans are chanting for water and her asking staff to get some. At one point, she even threw a bottle of water from the stage into the crowd herself. And so following all that, Time for Fun said that fans would be allowed to bring in their own water bottles and free water checkpoints.
Water! Give us water! What is she supposed to do? Like, set up a fire hose? I mean, what is she going to do?
posts. But also, as temperatures stayed dangerously high on Saturday, Taylor decided to postpone the show. And saying in a statement on Instagram, "I am writing this from my dressing room in the stadium. The decision has been made to postpone tonight's show due to the extreme temperatures in Rio. The safety and well-being of my fans, fellow performers, and crew has to and always will come first. So the show then going on as planned on Sunday when temperatures cooled, and the Saturday show will be postponed to tonight." But ultimately, that is where we are right now, and we're gonna have to wait to see what happens, because remember, this is a developing situation. There's
Poor girl. All she wanted to do was go to a concert. I remember watching a documentary about Lamb of God, which is a metal band. They went to Iraq, I believe it was, and they played a metal show, and you'd be surprised how really popular metal is all over the fucking world. Metal is universally loved in most like all in all the world. It's a universal language, metal. I believe in metal the way I believe in like music. It's a strong art form. And so Lamb of God goes to Iraq, and they're playing an Iraqi show, and one of their fans jumps off of the stage and breaks his back and dies. And so the Iraqis throw the lead singer of, Lamb of God, I believe, into a fucking, like a cell, and they keep him there for like a year, and they're like, "Did you murder this guy?" And the answer is no. The answer is absolutely, unequivocally no. And just really rough. And they finally dropped all that, but they were going to sue him. It cost them a lot of money for a lawyer. It screwed up the band's schedule for like 4 years while they dealt with it. It set them back. He was like depressed over it, over the fan dying and all this. It set them back as a band, and I don't even really like that band that much, but they're a good band, and it's unfortunate that that happened to them, and I always feel for this. It's not their fault that somebody at the show was reckless or didn't bring water, or like, for instance, when I used to go to shows, I would always bring girls with me. I'd be like, "Hey, if I buy you a ticket, will you come to the show with me?" Because you can stuff their purse with bottles of water, and usually, not always, but usually they'll let you in. If it's a hot summer day, you're like, "We need water, man. We're gonna die out here. This girl's gonna be sick," and it's true. And they'll let you bring water in. They're like, if they're good people, they will. That's how you get vodka in.
There's an investigation in place. So, of course,
I can teach
in the
you
meantime,
fishing
I don't know
skills.
your thoughts here.
And then purple. That is the first word we've been able to read from a collection of 2,000-year-old scrolls, with the scroll in question being discovered as part of a collection of hundreds in the town of Herculaneum.
Oh, he's in
the villa of
Goldshear?
Julius Caesar's
Okay.
father-in-law back in the mid-18th century. And they were carbonized by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, when Herculaneum was covered in volcanic mud and hot gases. Now, a big thing is that with these scrolls, they look like lumps of coal, and when scientists try to unroll them, the scrolls crumble without giving up very much of their text. So then in walks in Dr. Brent Seals, a computer scientist at the University of Kentucky. And Dr. Seals and his team pioneered digital unwrapping using X-ray tomography and computer vision, with the team first using this technology on the En-Gedi scroll discovered in the Dead Sea region in Israel, and it allowed the scroll to be digitally unwrapped and read without opening the scroll itself. However, the Herculaneum scrolls proved a much more difficult task, because rather than the dense ink used on the En-Gedi scroll, the ink on the Herculaneum scrolls was carbon-based, meaning that X-ray contrast against the carbon-based papyrus wasn't possible. But Dr. Seals and his team determined that under infrared light, some of the detached pieces of the scrolls are readable, and that data can actually be used for a machine learning model to detect otherwise invisible ink within the X-rays. So the team used a particle accelerator to make the X-rays as high contrast as possible, and they believe that a machine learning model can pick up on a very subtle surface
There it is.
that could indicate
Jesus,
Dr.
this
Seals,
was
along
so
with Matt
annoying.
Friedman and Daniel Gross created the Vesuvius Challenge, offering hundreds of thousands of dollars in prizes for anyone who can read these scrolls using this process. The grand prize is $700,000 to whoever can read 4 separate passages of continuous and plausible text from the scrolls. The reason for this giant bag of prize money is that the task is actually very difficult. These scrolls are very long, tightly wound, and damaged, which make them difficult to segment properly. And then there's the whole issue of finding the ink. And then you have to apply the ink detection model to the entire segmented scroll, and that's a monumental task. While we haven't quite gotten to the point of reading whole scrolls, there has been a winner for the smaller challenge of finding 10 legible letters within a 4-centimeter squared area. And not only are there letters, there's a word. Purple. With Luke Ferreter, a 21-year-old computer science student, being able to identify 10 letters, and among them was the word purple. Not actually purple, but a word that could either translate to a noun, meaning a specific.
I'm gonna go pee while this fish cooks. cooks.
But then, a few months later, another student submitted even clearer results, independently verifying the same letters for a second-place prize of $10,000. And notably, the findings of those young men were only made possible by Casey Handmer, because Casey had found substantial evidence that there was ink remaining in the scrolls. So he was also offered a $10,000 prize. And so these advancements mean that that prize of $700,000 and the ability to read this massive collection of 2 millennia-old scrolls is within reach. And honestly, who knows what kind of information they can hold? But for now, it is just a waiting game. And with these latest discoveries, it does really feel like it's only a matter of time. And hopefully, if that is true, somebody jumps on this quick. Because one of the big things is that the Vesuvius Challenge is only eligible to be won until December 31st of this year. But I guess the main points, history and science are awesome. And then,
South America just got a major political shakeup after Argentina just elected the self-described anarcho-capitalist Javier Milei as president. And his name might sound familiar because we talked about how recently Swifties weren't a fan of his and they vowed to make sure that he wasn't elected. But in yesterday's runoff election, Milei scored over 56% of the vote and his opponent quickly conceded. And it's really hard to understate how big of a shakeup Milei's win is. First off, he's kind of just a weird fucking guy, which is one of the few things nearly everyone can agree on. He goes to events dressed up in costumes, and his whole gimmick on the campaign trail was to brandish a chainsaw, which was a reference to how much he wanted to cut off the government. And then there's the fact that he's a political outsider from a fairly new party fighting a deeply entrenched establishment. And notably, other than for a few years, Argentina has been ruled by the same left-wing ideology since 2002. But that ideology has also been widely blamed for Argentina's major economic issues. Right? They have rampant inflation that's left over 40% of the population, or despite the fact that unemployment's actually fairly low at just 6.5%. And so Milei is about as far on the other side of the economic spectrum as you can get, with one of his most radical proposals to fix the economy being to replace Argentina's peso with the US dollar. But that's not something that's unheard of, and other countries have actually done this before, including in South America. Milei also wants to kill off the central bank and remove government positions, both because he wants to cut spending as well as thinking they're just not necessary on an ideological level. It also lines up with calls to eliminate what he calls the political caste in Argentina, a group that he and allies have long accused of keeping Argentina poor. Also, Milei's views on cultural issues are extremely polarized. He opposes feminist policies, claims sexual education is killing the family unit, opposes abortion, and wants to repeal a recent law that made it legal. He's also climate change denier, and he wants to reclaim Argentina's place in
I wasted a lot of fish.
Which is kind of his, like, make America great again. And considering Argentina used to be one of the wealthiest countries on the planet on a per capita basis, it is a sentiment that many Argentinians feel. So ultimately, we're going to have to wait and see what this actually looks like, but this will probably be the largest case study of how such drastic libertarian policies affect a country. Though it wouldn't be recommended to hold your breath for a positive outcome, I mean, the hole that Argentina is in would be a massive problem for anyone to fix, regardless of politics. And then, listen, it is normal and quite common to think about how to prevent hair loss or how to stimulate hair growth. I mean, just taking better care of your hair. And thanks to the sponsor of today's show, Keeps, they've got you covered. To date, Keeps has helped nearly 1 million men keep their hair and has over 4,500 5-star reviews with impressive before and after photos from real customers.
Thank you, Philip DeFranco, for the excellent content from a stream. I'd like to sub to your channel.
Both FDA-approved hair loss treatment options as well as a 2-in-1 gel that combines both of those treatments. We're talking about 90% effective treatments that can increase hair growth by up to 35%, with most seeing the difference in 6 months. Not to mention, Keeps also has a hair thickening shampoo, conditioner, and styling pomade for those looking to not only stimulate growth, but also just take better care of that head of hair. And get this, you can get all of these products delivered directly to your door, meaning no more going in person to the doctor's office for your prescription, saving you both valuable time and money. Hair loss stops with Keeps. So to get your special offer, just go to keeps.com/DeFranco, or just click that link in the description. That's keeps.com/DeFranco. And then we need to talk about charity hospitals, because they are the hospitals most meant to help their communities, and now they're facing increased scrutiny for not really doing that. But yet their CEOs are also still raking in millions of dollars, right? And again, the big thing here is I'm talking about independent, not-for-profit hospitals, something that the United States has nearly 3,000 of, right? I mean, that's notably half of the roughly 6,100 hospitals across the U.S. One of the perks of being a not-for-profit hospital, also known as NFP, is that they're classified as a charity by the IRS, and that gets them off the hook for property tax, sales tax, and all income taxes. However, in return for that, they're expected to put any excess money that they generate, the stuff we call profit, back into their communities. And I mean, that's alongside other benefits, and they all do this. The key issue, though, is the scale and how they do their accounting. For example, there's something called the Medicaid shortfall, and that's the difference between what a service costs and what Medicaid will pay. And most NFPs count that difference as charity, even though there's an increasing pushback that shouldn't count, because they argue that higher insurance payouts and uninsured patients paying their bills in cash easily cover these costs. And I'll give you an example, and understand these are just completely made up numbers to try to make it simple to understand. Let's say a surgery that I have costs $1 million, but my Medicaid
they will only pay $200,000. And then someone comes by for the same procedure and has insurance, and their insurance pays $2 million. That alone covers the $800,000 Medicaid shortfall that the hospital had from helping me out. But then they also go on to say that it wasn't charity work despite it not really costing them anything. Then there's also the issue of just how much in total is being paid out. And with that, I mean, take RWJ Barnabas Health. They're a massive NFP chain out of New Jersey that spent just 1.65% of its almost $6 billion in revenue on charity care. And that is actually not a weird outlier. With the United States Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, which is chaired by Senator Bernie Sanders, putting out a report last month that looked at the 16 largest NFP groups in the U.S. and their findings were shocking. Because out of the billions of dollars they brought in,
No one's
most spent
ever
between
stolen anything out of here.
0.346 and
Not in the whole
1.81%
history
of the revenue on charity. Now, also, to try to be fair,
Welcome
there
to
were
the Bank
notable
of Stormwind.
outliers with the
We offer
Methodist
financial
Hospital,
accounts and
Memorial
safety
Hermann
deposit
Hospital
boxes
System,
for valuable
Riverside
items.
Hospital, and
Do you
Orlando
already have
Hospital,
an
all of
account
which
with us,
actually
ma'am?
spent between 3.8 and 8% of their total revenues on charity. But also for many of the hospitals that we're talking about, the numbers look even worse when you consider how much C-suite executives are making at these places, especially at the top 16 NFPs in the nation. I mean, the head of Common Spirit Health, which brought in $33.2 billion and spent only 1.5% of that on charity, is making over $32 million a year. Well, they are a bit of an outlier. It's not uncommon to see salaries between $3.3 and $16 million. And so with all that, for many people, it feels incredibly wrong that a place that's supposed to emphasize helping their
Oh,
is
I am
spending
out of
on a
money.
single person working there.
Shit.
To be clear, I'm not saying that if you're in charge of an entire
That
hospital,
might be
you should be
annoying.
compensated well. But
We
there's
offer
also a
financial
huge
accounts and
difference
safety
between $3 million,
deposit boxes
$6,
for
$8,
valuable items.
$17 million,
Do you already have an
especially
account
when you
with us,
consider
ma'am?
how low the charity numbers are at a lot of these places. And all of that points to something that many
There, I'll
NFPs
just,
have long
well,
been
I don't
accused
know.
of
Let's
for
see.
their recovery. It's increasingly common for for-profit hospitals to switch over to NFPs in order to save
Yeah,
money on tax
that's
breaks.
fine.
So when that happens, there can be serious repercussions, such as when Pottstown Hospital was taken over by Tower Health.
Welcome
back in
to the Bank of
2018. The hospital's new tax-free
We offer
status
financial
made the
accounts
local
and
school
safety
district
deposit
receive
boxes for
$900,000,
valuable items.
leading to serious
I'll just vendor that.
with
That'll
this
get me out
minister.
there.
That change, as Superintendent Stephen Rodriguez put it, meant that we have less curriculum, less coaches, less transportation. And notably, the courts have actually since revoked its status for abusing the system. There's also the fact that NFPs often don't serve those you'd think would need them most, or they're more likely to be in high-income areas and serve fewer uninsured patients than their for-profit counterparts. But possibly one of the most important stats is the fact that a 2021 study found that NFPs actually spend about the same amount of their revenue on charity as their for-profit counterparts. And for the largest for-profit hospitals, it was substantially more. And digging into those numbers, it shows some other discrepancies. Right, so remember earlier how I said NFPs
There's a famous person.
as part of their charity? Well, when you take that into
See
account,
him?
for-profit places end up
There's
spending
OTK,
way more
it's
on
a famous
uninsured
streamer.
patients than NFPs. So when it comes
Right
to
there.
actually getting care to patients that cannot afford it, for-profits actually end up doing more. That's also been backed up by another study that found that for every $100 in NFP
I don't know the
tax
name,
total
but
expenses,
I've
only
seen the name.
$2.30 went to charity care, and at for-profit places it was actually $3.80, and government-run hospitals spent $4.10. And it also
These
certainly
great
doesn't help that
beasts,
health
no
affairs found
paths
between
that you can't
2012
find
to
on foot.
2019,
They'll get you there
NFPs had
fast
major
and maybe
profits and
show
cash
you
reserve
something
growth,
new at
but
the same
the amount
time.
they spent on charity didn't match. Now, with all this, NFPs argue that direct charity work isn't everything, and that they offer other benefits that are required by the 2010 Affordable Care Act, or things like conducting a community health needs assessment at least once every 3 years, as well as having clear financial assistance policies that limit what they can charge eligible individuals. They're also required to take pretty large steps to make sure that people can qualify for financial assistance before hounding them for money, something that for-profit places can ignore. Taken all together, the American Hospital Association says that this means NFPs deliver $9 for every dollar of federal taxes they avoid. But, as you probably guess at this point, there's some serious doubts about that. But the Government Accountability Office is calling this out as straight shenanigans, with a GAO director saying it's not clear what a hospital has to do to justify a tax exemption. What's a sufficient benefit for one hospital may not be a sufficient benefit for another, right? And that's because, as a GAO report from April of this year showed, the requirements are pretty vague as to what they actually mean. So in the 2020 report, 30 NFPs actually got the status despite spending nothing on community benefits. The agency has also recommended that Congress actually act here and make it much more clear exactly what the hospitals need to do to get the status. And so far, in April of this year, a congressional committee actually heard about the issue and is considering the matter. Although notably there, the national government is hardly the only place looking into it. Oregon, for example, first took notice back in 2019 and set floors on how much a hospital must spend on the community based on profit margin and other metrics to qualify. Illinois and Utah have also followed suit with spending requirements for NFPs that are tied to how much they would have paid in taxes had they been for-profit institutions. And I mean, all in all, you know a system is pretty fucked up when both Democrats and Republicans largely don't like it. Right? Dems are angry over the lack of charity care given out by NFPs, while Republicans are confused why they get a tax break at all. And so with all that said, right, it seems like the issue isn't that NFTs shouldn't exist. It's that seemingly most, especially the largest ones, are masquerading as not-for-profit hospitals, when in reality, they're just cheating the system for a tax break and not giving back to the community at a rate that's actually worth it. If you want to dive even deeper, you're really interested in this, I'm going to include some links down below to some of the studies and reports that we mentioned. Because, I mean, the reality is, if you wanted to, you could spend 3 whole days reading up on just that. But then also, for everyone, what are your thoughts with this news? And also, what have your experiences been? And then, let's talk about yesterday, today, where we take a look back at the last show, we dive into those comments, and we see what y'all had to say, your thoughts, where you stood on things, why, sometimes your experiences. And actually with that, we talked about the thousands of Starbucks workers on strike, and there, I saw y'all saying things like, I'm at a union Starbucks store in Boston, and I wish my coworkers would participate more. Being stuck without any negotiating rights as a certified union store has really damaged what made me fall in love with Starbucks in the first place. The barista experience. Connecting with my
fall in love with
Starbucks
Starbucks
is fun, but not fun enough to not be able to pay my bills. And then another comment reading just a couple.
Shush, brand. Oh, the brand broke some girl's heart. Oh man, what a fucking world we live in, where this girl's talking about, no, Starbucks broke my heart, and it's like, it's like it would be a good title for a skit. Starbucks broke my heart. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, are you that corpo where you're talking about how a brand broke your heart that you work for? I guess, yeah. I could see it. After working for 4 months at the Subway, I actually really loved Subway. I still love Subway. I think it's kind of disgusting food, frankly, but it's still, like, as a brand, I think it's kind of fun. They kind of indoctrinated me while I was there, and I guess I can see why she would be that way.
A couple of weeks ago, I went to a Starbucks drive-thru.
Baristas are probably really brand fucking, like, oriented.
Get myself a drink and went through the usual please and thank yous you'd think are commonplace. When I got to the window, the person taking my order said they upsized my drink for free for not being rude. I asked them if people were generally rude at that location, and they said it's been a hectic day, so people didn't like the wait. That was part of it, and they would be openly upset about the wait time. I didn't even think about the wait time. To me, it seemed like a normal wait. The fact that normal manners was enough to warrant an upsized drink with no charge was cool, but also...
No, they're like crack addicts. They're like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't need to. This relationship that you and I have built is you're my vendor slave, and I'm your coffee junkie, and you're my drug dealer, and I don't care about you. I want the dope. Give it to me. And they're like, I have to go to work, and I need this coffee now. I'm late, and sorry, that's Starbucks' fault somehow. And and that's why they're essentially drug dealers. I would say this is like a drug to a lot of people, I would say. I've seen the culture. They line up. They're ready to pay. They pay drug prices. They pay the kind of money I used to pay for dope.
Also kind of upset. I can't imagine the type of stuff they go through at work. But yeah, I will say there wasn't a Starbucks. It was at dinner the other night. The waiter thanked us for being chill.
Yeah, like
so caught off guard.
Yeah, like my family, we get this too. When we go to places, they're like, you are so nice and so patient and so jovial and all this, and they're like surprised by this, and I'm like, yeah, I guess we're just happy. Is that I'm not dumb, I'm just happy, I guess. This whole place has been like cleared out, which doesn't really make sense to me. I feel like a bunch of mages are about to pop on me, and I'm like tempting death right here, and I'm gonna get out of here. I know that there's mobs here, but somebody killed all of them. Somebody is like way too high level for this. It's him. He's 19. He doesn't belong here, and he's killing everything. There, I want the looter. That's good.